days, Korean holidays, 4 days national holiday. Okay. So, actually, sorry, make myself prepared for printout. I'll make it ready soon and make it available for you. Okay, let's have one passage from textile perspective, what American law and legal research, legal English, and also complement this class with the basics of the legal research methods, kind of principle of legal research. So the class purpose is to make you more familiar and competent to serve to the legal sources. But you often make a distinction between primary and secondary sources. So you will have a wide of a documents, for example, a juror codes, jurisdiction, what are those? Oxford Companion to American Law, newspaper articles, and some public website provides quite useful legal information, which includes the case laws for recent court holdings, and also some website is useful about socio-historical perspective on the legal issues and questions. So you may refer to Wikipedia page, for example, about common law legal system. And also, we will also be extensive about legislative history, public record and studies would be available, which of course depends on the law, regulations. You may know what the national law disclosure of public information. Now, we have some competing interests in terms of legal protection, or private right, or national security. The kind of elements often need to be confidential about the responsibilities of public employees. So, basic personnel information or matters in national appointment would not be readily available to the public. No, so that's one kind of a public policy in which we can see a diverse political stance across jurisdictions. How about we actually fairly democratic setup, so we have similar statute compare in same extent and what a regulation with federal information disclosure from the United States. In any case, we virtually have no limits, with few exceptions about the legal resources, documents, court briefs. Even court briefs could be traced in the Westlaw website. So I will raise one hypothetical situation. Maybe a legal researcher who was asked by your supervisor to research on some legal question. I consider, for example, the controversy now contended in Korean politics. For congressmen or alleged to commit bribery, the corruptive activities were condemned now. So the criminal justice system in Korea comes as well. Now, the Korean public would not be satisfied with current system institution. Actually, the criminal immunity and privileges of Korean National Assemblymen have been instituted long decades ago. It's quite classic institution, as you know. So that is kind of a stigmatic. You consider through the history of world history. You may imagine, kind of nobility to struggle with that monarch, King John, barons who rebel against the excessive taxation. The arbitrary power of government should be checked in the interest. So it is considered a strength and perhaps the most detonated form of rebellion against absolute power. Of course, this scope and some understanding is limited since they protect the interest of nobility, kind of interest groups in barons or feudal class in prestige, actually. The tradition and spirit have been succeeded in 18th and 19th century. You may know kind of antiquated form of Congress, the purist regis, what is purist regis, and also what is parochial. So they convene to discuss important state matters. You know, for example, the dynasty of ancient Silla, the puppet puppet. So the kind of a ruling class which would be limited in extent may organize a forum to discuss important state matters. So that is the kind of the artifact or the historical fact, of course, which evolves in the modern form of a Congress and a parliament. So you know the political system in the United Kingdom is still parliamentary. So the central legation of national power could be found in parliament. So the executive also function would be submissive to the parliament and also has equal powers and responsibilities to recall to Congress for new election, general election practice. So the parliamentary system and the spirit of Congress would actually deeply founded in the tradition of democracy. So the separation of power principle have been enacted as a matter of constitution in new republic, American continent. Now we have some new initiative, quite consequential, however, to create presidentialism in the constitutional democracy, and which also is paired with the French Revolution. So presidential system have been in advance in the history of democracy. So now the president in presidentialism would be the kind of replacement of monarch and represents the executive power and also some key figures in response to national emergency, war powers, and definitely some cases about the prescription in Constitution. So the controversy may be larger. Kind of legal kind often debated in the legal circle. So what could president be legitimate to act in this way without approval of Congress? To attack Iraq, for example, UN also may be subject to skepticism of global power. What is veto power from permanent members? Are they crystal clear about abuse of human rights, kind of a cruelty, atrocities, about the shocking scene, the Israel state. So how do we practice good to keep stance from that aggression? Actually, quite shocking, against conscience and traditional concept of human rights. And also, war crimes is quite striking. As the former ruler in Yugoslavia, AK.EDU.CONSULTING, since he perpetrated cruelty or misdemeanors. So the problem we now face with is how to reform the immunities and privileges of National Assemblymen in Korean legal system. So we have a written constitution and very specific about this character and nature of that right. So we initially welcome this goodness and this utility as a matter of constitutional policy. We practiced democracy about 60 years ago. In the military, about that progress, we experienced kind of a developmental politics of state. So the ultimate goals would actually pursue to develop nation in terms of national economy. Dictatorship might witness a great opportunity to exploit the situation. So actually in Constitution in 1970s would fairly go over in some sense. The president has constitutional power to make a seat in the National Assembly. 1/3 of Congress could be staffed by the selection of a president. And also many emergency powers which legitimate the kind of a worse abrogation of human rights could, well, in the constitutional body language and provisions, fair ground to support the kind of a abuse of human rights. And the later form of constitution would be moderate in some sense. However, still, the strong presidency is in primacy about New Deals in 1980, the early year of 1980s. We achieved the quite revolutionary form of constitution in the late of 1980s. Actually, the public concern and debate would be contending about the mode of a presidential election. In fair ambit of supplement, we have many new provisions about private right, kind of many reform on the model about the structure of government. So now the National Assembly declared back the traditional scope of powers and responsibilities practiced in developed countries. So we now are not disagreeing with the main text or kind of the provisions in the written constitution. One exception would be the presidential term. So some political group would endeavor about initiative of a constitutional reform. So 2 terms has to be restored to the presidency. So 4 years in each election. There is the twin deals. Now we see in the U.S. Constitution. Another would be about the National Assembly, especially the privileges and immunities of Congress that have been safeguarded in express language from the Constitution about about the criminal justice. For example, in session, they are exempted from detention, arrest, even if the evidence is very substantial to support the allegation. So, how would you justify kind of exemption in this modern democracy? We could not seek an excuse from the previous form of dictatorship. Now we are democracy. And the institution is actually outmoded. Statutory provision would suffice our needs. The weightier deals involved with constitution no longer means in any reasonable way. So it must be subject to normal legislation. So the policymakers may